Hey guys, what's going on? Got a great guest today. He's Mike Petraglia. He's otherwise known as Trags. What's going on, Trags?
What's up, Iceman? How are you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Good. We're
I'm
getting ready
excited.
for yes,
I'm
getting excited for the
excited.
schedule release
Schedule.
tonight.
Yes, I not to cut you off, but it is one of my favorite times of the year because I get to book all my flights for the year. Soon
Exactly,
as that,
exactly.
soon as that schedule, not to give away any trade secrets or compete with other fans who are going to be likewise doing the same, but that is the one of my favorite parts of the season, making sure that everything is in line for all my trips that I'm going to make.
Exactly. Yeah. I now for me, I have one a road trip already planned. So now everybody knows my wife's from Florida, and my
Yeah,
sister-in-law has tickets or season tickets to the Buccaneers. So I'm already going to go to the Bengals Buccaneers game. We go down there for
right.
Thanksgiving every year. So I was kind of hoping that was gonna be Bengals Bucks prime time Thursday, Thanksgiving Eve or Thanksgiving night. But rumors have it it's the Bengals and the Cowboys 4 o'clock. Is that confirmed, or is that all just still rumors?
Still rumors, but that is something that would make a ton of sense.
Right.
A little surprised that I guess I'm not because the Cowboys are always playing on Thanksgiving Day. Everybody knows that. So are the
Right.
Lions at home. But I think the Cowboys and Bengals on Thanksgiving Day would be a great game. Obviously, Dak against Joe Burrow, and just a lot of storylines going into that game. And there's always going to be attention on the Cowboys, but now this year there's going to be a lot more attention on the Bengals, and it just makes I think going to make for a great. I'm going to assume that's going to be a CBS game on if it's at 4 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day.
Right, right. Yeah, that I mean it'll be a great Thanksgiving day game. I'm just being selfish thinking about me. and I don't want to have to make another trip. I mean, I gotta make
It
another trip
just
to
means
Florida.
for all of us who cover the team, it means we're going to have Thanksgiving away from friends and family,
Right.
or we have to bring our friends and family with us
Hmm.
and have a Thanksgiving meal either before or after. Well, more than likely before that game, because working after a game like that, we'll all be working till about 11 o'clock at night. So
Right, exactly. Speaking of that, I had Jeremy Rowell on the show yesterday. He was talking about how the potential of how many primetime games the Bengals can have. And he said it's great for the fans and everything. He goes, kind of makes it harder on guys who cover the team like yourself because
yeah,
he says primetime game. He goes, we'll be there till 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
if you're lucky. I will tell you, having my friend James Rapine, my great colleague James Rapine, knows how many times is keeping a tote board of how many times I mention I once covered the Patriots. But I once covered the Patriots, and they were always on prime time. It seemed like throughout their 15-year run, their dynasty run, and that is one thing we had to keep in mind. We had to pace ourselves through the course of a year because night games take a lot more out of you than a 1 o'clock or even a 4 o'clock game on a Sunday afternoon. It just throws your schedule into the grinder. So anyway, we're going to have at least 5 games, I would say, in prime time. I'd be surprised if there weren't that many. The other thing I would tell you, a little trivia about myself. The last time I covered a game on Thanksgiving was Patriots. And do you know who they were playing? It's an
No
epic
idea.
game. It was an
On
epic game.
Thanksgiving? Oh, I I can't think of one right now. What game was
Do
it?
you remember the butt fumble game?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Mark Sanchez.
How can I
I
forget about that?
remember everything about that game. The meal beforehand, which was as I said, was on Thanksgiving Day, so we had a Thanksgiving meal. My colleague at the time, Chris Price at weei.com, we ate a Thanksgiving meal right across whatever that is, Route 3 in the Meadowlands, at a local restaurant. It was good, actually, really good. And
Right.
then we made our way over to the stadium. The tough thing about that, Iceman, is you've got to make sure that you don't eat too much and fall asleep during the game because
Yeah,
that
that
can happen.
yeah, that'd
Trust
make it rather difficult. Be writing your story and doze off. That probably wouldn't be good. But like I think the very first time I had you on my show, sometime last year, and we talked about, and we'll have to put James to put us up on the board again. Talked about you covering the Patriots, and I said it might be a good omen, because You left. Tom Brady left. You came here to cover the new GOAT, Jackpot Joey Burrow. And lo and behold, we went to the Super Bowl. So, Trags, I think it's all you, man. I think you're the good luck charm. You know, wherever you go to cover the team, it turns around, man.
As Zach Taylor told me at the combine in Indianapolis, I guess you're the secret sauce, is what he said.
Exactly.
Secret sauce. But it was taken out of the oven about 85 seconds early on February 13th. But maybe we'll have another chance to cook something up in Glendale, Arizona. I think they have a very good chance of actually doing that.
Oh, I think they have a great chance. I mean, as long as they stay healthy, you know, got knock on wood for that. But yeah, to me, that's the only thing that's going to hold them back. And, you know, you can always say the Super Bowl hangover, but Trags,
I don't think that this team's going to have that.
Me either. I don't think this team mentally, they're not like that. They're not built like that. You know, it's like we always talk about Jackpot Joey Burrow. He's built differently. You know, he's a psycho. He wants to win, and that permeates throughout the whole team. And there's lots of guys on this team that are like that.
Oh, there's no question about that. But the column that I wrote yesterday for CLNS Media really got to the point of why not only Jonah Williams bringing him back and picking up his fifth-year option, but why the front office has done things the right way. They laid out a game plan to let everybody know, especially their own players, that we have a plan in place to make sure that we not only get back to the Super Bowl, but we win it this time. And everybody and their brother knows that they had to rebuild the offensive line. They had to improve the offensive line. They did that in the draft. They spent 5 of their 6 draft picks on defense. They improved the speed in the back end throughout the secondary. They have a lot more versatility. Dax Hill, people are going to love Dax Hill, I think. He is going to be a special player for the Bengals. Whether or not he is the future replacement of Jesse Bates, who knows? But let it play out this season and the next maybe. I think Dax Hill is going to be an impact player. I think Tyson Anderson out of Toledo is going to be a impact player. And of course, the corner out of Nebraska. They have really done some things to the back end of that defense that makes me think they are going to not only try and keep pace with offenses and wide receivers that have been brought in to the AFC, but be playmakers on top of that.
Yeah, exactly. I love the speed that they've added to the secondary. I mean, I've said this on my show that I think that they potentially had the fastest, or at least one of the fastest, and one of the best all-around secondaries in the league with the addition of Dax and of Cam. Both those guys, regardless, like you said, of what happens in the future with Bates and Bell and all that stuff, this year right now, they're going to be plug-and-play guys. I mean, I'm not saying necessarily starters, but first guys off the bench, different looks, whatever. I mean, they're going to be very integral parts of this defense, I think.
I think certainly Cam Taylor-Britt, and who knows who else might emerge. They're going to push Eli Apple, and I think that is by design. The 1-year, $4 million deal that Eli Apple is coming back under is fair to Eli, but it's also fair to the team, and it doesn't hamstring the team. I think it puts the Bengals in a very good position to have a lot of options in Lou Anarumo's secondary.
Yeah, and with the positional, the different positions that Cam and Dax can both play, that goes into perfectly to what I call the amoeba defense, morphing defense that Lou Anarumo likes to play. He likes guys that can play multiple different positions, and these guys fit in perfectly with that.
Well, and I'm going to go back to New England again. The Patriots, Belichick was very much known for the amoeba defensive line where nobody put their hand in the dirt until the snap. And the quarterbacks had a hard time deciphering what defense they were in. Well, I think Lou Anarumo is going to go down really the same path. He wants to give a lot of these quarterbacks confusing looks pre-snap so the Bengals are not predictable. And I think the Bengals have certainly the speed and the athletic skill to be able to pull that off. What it's going to come down to is how well do the veterans and the younger players, the rookies, communicate with each other.
Right, exactly. And just case in point of just look at the Tennessee playoff game and the Kansas City playoff game. I mean, two different styles of offense, and Lou Anarumo's defense shut them down. I mean, Tennessee, they stacked the box. You weren't going to run on them. Kansas City, they dropped everybody back. So that's back-to-back weeks. They played it two different ways, and
great point.
That's and I've said this before, and I've again we're going to reference Bill Belichick and the Patriots, but that's what they do all the time. Is whatever that team does well, they're going to take that away from you, and that's what Lou Anarumo and his defense did a lot last year. And I think they're going to be able to do it even more this year.
I think the Bengals defense, at least coming into the season, will be flying under the radar because I think all of the focus, all of the attention is on all of these wide receivers coming over, certainly to the Chiefs, to the Dolphins, to the Bills. All of these teams, on paper are a lot more dangerous and explosive. The Bengals' response to that is, okay, you play that game, we're going to play our game. And that is, we're going to load up our secondary with a lot of different types of athletes and a lot of speed and a lot of really good tacklers. That is going to be first and foremost the priority of this Bengal team. They're going to have to be able to tackle well. Last year, I thought they did a very good job tackling. I thought there were good signs, believe it or not, starting in the first preseason game against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. The Bengals were pursuing the ball, and when they got to the ball carrier, they were getting him to the ground quickly. And I loved the anecdote, Iceman, that Anarumo told all of his rookies, not rookies, but potential draft selections in the pre-draft process. He showed him one piece of film, and that was the film of Chido Awuzie bringing Derrick Henry to the ground on first down with about 2.5 minutes left in the game against Tennessee. If he doesn't bring him to the ground one-on-one in isolation, Henry at least breaks off 10, 15 yards, maybe even 20. And the Titans probably are in almost immediate position to go down, set up, and kick a game-winning field goal. Instead, it was Awuzie getting Henry to the ground, and it changed the complexion of that drive. And obviously, a couple plays later, the interception.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. You took the words right out of my mouth as you were talking about it, because I remember either you wrote about it or you asked a question or I heard it on your podcast. I can't remember where it came from, but I remember you talking about Lou Anarumo talking about that play and how it's his favorite play of the season. As to if Cheeto doesn't get him down, it's a big play for Tennessee. And that was before last year. That was one of the biggest problems the Bengals defense had, is tackling guys. And that was one of the things that they tried to get with the free agents the last couple of years, guys who can tackle. Lou said, I don't care how you get them on the ground. Just get them on the ground as fast as you can. And that's what these guys do.
Well, and, as great a player as Jesse Bates is and has been for the Bengals, one of his weaknesses has been tackling. And I think there's a message here that is being projected by Lou Anarumo to Jesse Bates and others on the defense, that they're going to place a even higher priority and premium on getting a guy to the ground.
Exactly. Now, let's roll it back here to the schedule, which we had that release coming out tonight. Now, here, this is the opponent's home and away that we know we're going to play them. Now, out of all of these, the one that I'm saying is I think it'd be cool if it was Kansas City and the Bengals, primetime, Sunday night, first Sunday night of the season, the rematch of the AFC Championship. That's the one that I'm kind of thinking, that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. What ones, you got any predictions of which ones you think they might be?
In terms of when and where?
Or just primetime games, which ones the matchup.
So, okay, if you are to believe NFL schedule rumors, or whatever that Twitter site is, the opening game will be a primetime game Sunday night against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I think that's a pretty safe bet. I think the Bills game is going to be a primetime game somewhere. That could be a Monday night game. And that is obviously going to be at Paul Brown Stadium. And could you put that graphic up one more time? Or
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. And I think Chiefs could be a primetime game. That is a game. Chiefs or Browns could be a primetime game. Then on the road, I think it's a safe bet right now that the Cowboy game is going to be on Thanksgiving Day. Right. At least what we hear, those are rumors, not official until Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Then I would say you're going to see Tampa Bay. You're going to see Joe Burrow and Tom Brady in prime time. I would be very surprised if that game were not in prime time.
I'm with you, Trax. Not to cut you off there, but I'd be absolutely shocked if they don't have what I call, the new GOAT, Jackpot Joe Burrow, versus the old GOAT, Tom Brady, where you can pass the torch to him, which, not that actually going to happen. But still, I'd be shocked if they don't put that game, because this will be the one and only time, unless they meet in the Super Bowl, that they face each other, in a regular season game. So I'd be shocked if that's not a primetime game.
Yeah, I'm thinking that has Sunday night football written all over. Look, Tampa Bay and Tom Brady going back to New England to take on Bill Belichick, that was a no-brainer for Sunday night football.
Oh, yeah.
To me, it doesn't rise to that level. I'm not going to say that, but it's close. And I think if NBC were to have one game this year involving Tom Brady in prime time, I would have to think that they would love to see Joe Burrow against Tom Brady. It would be a potential Super Bowl preview, and I have maintained all along, had the Bucks not gone into that stupid defense at the end of that game against the Rams, and had finished the comeback down in Tampa Bay on that Sunday afternoon in the divisional round, it would have been Brady and Burrow in Super Bowl 56. That would have been the highest rated Super Bowl of all time, no doubt in my mind. No.
And I would have not been able to watch the game with my wife. Me and my son told her that. It's like, we love you to death. We cannot watch it with you because I'm a sore loser and I'm a terrible winner.
So, you know what? That's fair. You lay down the ground rules, Iceman, beforehand. Nobody gets hurt.
Exactly. Because they're like, oh, like her whole family's like, oh yeah, we all should get together. I'm like, no. Nope, I'm not going to do that. That's not going to work. That ain't going to happen at all. But now I have a question about Tom Brady now. With the story came out that he's gotten this big contract with Fox he's got a job after football now. So this is going to be his last year. Now, with him announced, we think, yes. It looks like it. But with him announcing his retirement already earlier this year, and then he's coming back, I really don't think this is, I'm kind of putting it out there as just conversation, but do you think he's still going to have the same drive this year as he has in the past? Because because he's got a job, he's got all this equipment.
You can forget about him being complacent or lackadaisical or whatever word you want to, or the edge being off. No. That's not the way Tom Brady is wired. Yeah. He is an odd duck. He is a different cat, man. People have no idea how different a competitor he is in terms of wanting to do everything within his power and within reason to win.
Right.
He will do that. And I don't think that edge will come off just because he has $375 million. Look, the 375 is just a number to him at this point. It's not about how much money he has in the bank. It's just, is he getting the best deal he can from Fox? And obviously, I think the answer is yes.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I'm
kind of surprised. It won't diminish his drive, Iceman.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't track that. I really don't think it's going to, but it's just something to talk about. That other people are like, are you nuts? Well, I'm like, I'm not nuts, but I'm just, hey, it's a thought. But since you covered Tom Brady and you've covered Joe Burrow here the last 3 years or 2 years, and you're just talking about the competitive edge that Tom Brady has, how are they as similar as we think they are as far as that goes?
Yes, I think they are very similar in that regard. And that's what I have said oftentimes when I got asked this question last season, compare Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. It's the drive. It's the hatred of losing. It's do whatever you can to prepare yourself to win a game. And I think Joe Burrow does that. I think both of them actually do a pretty good job of keeping it to themselves. At least Brady did early in his career. Now, he has the documentaries and all of that, and everybody gets to peek behind the curtain. But I think with Joe Burrow, he does a very good job of maintaining an even keel. That's why he's called Joe Cool. I mean, he looks the same after a win or a loss, but I think the fire deep down still burns. And the quote that sticks with me from last year more than any other is the one that he said about people don't need to know what I'm doing behind the scenes. Keep that quiet. You remember this,
Yeah.
Iceman, when he said, people don't need to know what I'm doing before a game to get revved up for a game. Let that work speak on the field. Don't talk about it. Let that work show on the field. I'm paraphrasing here because I have a terrible memory, apparently. But let your intensity, let your drive to win show on the field. You don't need to show it in the 6 days leading up to the game.
Exactly. And that, like I said, that's permeated this entire locker room. And I like I said, I'm so excited. I can't wait till the season starts. Now, tomorrow starts rookie minicamp. So there are veterans here because they're there for voluntary workouts. Is it just going to be the rookies working out, or you think there will be some veterans out there too running around the field, or is it just the rookies going out there?
So that's a good. Different teams have different philosophies, but usually when they're on the field, it's just the rookies that they don't want any distractions. The team doesn't want any distractions. The team is teaching. What happens in a rookie minicamp really is they get on the field, but the team coaches, the coaching staff and the personnel people want to make sure that everybody is on the same page and starting from the same starting point. And it's an orientation camp, essentially, is what it is. It's like, your freshman year in college, you remember when you went to those orientation meetings and got familiar with your surroundings and all of that. That's what rookie minicamp really is all about. Yes, they go through some of the playbooks. Some teams, throw more plays at the players, and others other teams are more concerned about, are you familiar with your surroundings? Do you know where to go if you need something? And you may a lot of fans may think, well, how does that help a player contribute to winning on the field? Well, it's all about making the rookies comfortable with their environment, their working environment from day one. And that's what really rookie minicamp is all about. And that's how the Bengals approach it.
Right. Well, speaking of that, if you remember last year, Jamar Chase thought Cincinnati was just a bunch of land.
Right.
He didn't know it was an actual city, and we had downtown area and all this stuff. So, he'd never been there before.
And Iceman, that's a big part of it, is to get these guys comfortable with their new surroundings. Right. And the quicker they're more comfortable, the more that they can just focus on, okay, I know where I am. I'm comfortable here. Now I can get to the real work of focusing on the playbook.
Yeah, exactly. They can figure out where they want to live at, how long it takes to get to practice, where to go get food at.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Just they don't have to think about it. So, I know I can go here. It's just getting comfortable with your surroundings, because you're going to be here for the next couple of years. I mean, hopefully longer than that if you have a long NFL career. So, Trags, I appreciate it. I'm going to go have some fun tonight at the Sam Hubbard Foaling tournament. Unfortunately, I'm not playing. Are you planning on going there, or is it just?
No, I am hanging out in front of a TV because I'll probably be writing off the schedule.
See, I'll have my phone out there checking it out of when what the schedule is, and making fun of people who try to throw football at some bowling balls. So it'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, Mike, before I go ahead, Mike. What?
No. I was just going to say that sounds like a fun time, Iceman.
I plan on having a lot of fun there, and I got a weird tweet from my buddy Dale, who's my seat neighbor. His wife is a huge Sam Hubbard fan, and he for some reason asked me to take a picture of Sam's butt. I said, I don't think that's going to happen. But then Sam Hubbard actually liked the tweet. I'm like, interesting.
I'm going to go no comment there. I'm going to play it safe.
Probably good idea.
Iceman.
Probably good idea. Tell everybody about your podcast and the article you just wrote and released yesterday about General Williams.
Yes, so you can follow my podcast on YouTube at Jungle Roar Pod. That's the channel on YouTube. You can follow it, of course, wherever you download your favorite podcasts. Just enter Jungle Roar Pod, and it should come up, whether that's Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you download your podcasts. Be sure to do that. And if you want to follow my concise and entertaining and enthralling writing, you can do that at CLNS Media. You can also follow, obviously, on my Twitter page at Trags, TRAGS. Provide all of the links back to CLNS Media so you can read. So there you go.
And remember, you used to cover the Patriots. Got to always remember that.
You can see that in my avatar. You know what my avatar is? Have you
Yeah,
seen my avatar?
I
You see
have.
what's
I have.
on the seat that I'm sitting in? You look
Oh,
closely.
I have to look at it. No, I haven't. I haven't looked at
Yeah,
it close. I'll check it out when we get off here.
yeah. It's a constant reminder. Let's put it that way.
Because he did. He covered the Patriots. Jags, appreciate it, brother. Take it
All
easy,
right.
man.
It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, buddy.
You too.